One of the biggest areas I see runners typically fail or don't focus on enough of within their dynamic warm-up is the calf, lower leg, and creating some kind of elasticity. So running, obviously, we're pushing off from one foot to the other. We have this propulsion as we leave the ground, absorb, and then going to that next mid-stance ground contact before we push off again. So we need to have that push off from the calf. A lot of times if we're working on walking mobility, again, if you're doing a dynamic warm-up, we don't really get that push off as well as we should. So if we just add a simple calf raise in between some of those repetitions, that's a really good starting point. Again, not perfect, but it's a lot better if you're not adding any kind of propulsion in there. So for instance, if we're doing a walking lunge, we come up, calf raise. In between, we come up, calf raise. Same thing on the way back, I can start to transition to a single leg calf raise. So now a lot more body weight on that one leg, really to get that muscle fired, get it fine-tuned, so then we go and push off, we have a little bit more force and power behind it. The next step is then to be a little bit more ballistic. So ankle hops is a great movement. After you finish your dynamic warm-up, your mobility, your leg swings, whatever it is that you work on, typically, just to go through about 5-10 seconds of these low-level jumps. Because essentially running, just that forceful push off from one foot to the other, we're jumping and landing, but if we're neglecting any kind of movement where we're actually coming off the ground in our dynamic warm-up, are we truly prepared for running? Typically, no. So ankle hops, if we work through 5 or 10 seconds, as we get through the first round or two, everything starts warming up, we can start to increase the explosiveness of the movement. We're trying to land, absorb quickly, and then get off the ground as fast as we can, because a lot of what we're seeing is the hamstring and calf, these muscles in the leg don't just propel and push off the body, but actually need to be used to absorb force every time you hit the ground. So that's kind of what we want to do here, is absorb quickly and then create some power to move, okay? So then we can go a little bit more forceful, trying to use my ankles as much as I can. From there, making the movement a little bit bigger. So we obviously want to get quad, hip, everything involved to absorb and propel the body. So squat jumps could be your next step. Again, obviously starting nice and easy first, making sure knees are always staying out, soft landing, get right back up. You don't need to get super low because there's not a lot of range of motion within that running movement. We just need enough, absorb, and to get in the air. So those are a couple suggestions, adding a calf raise, adding a ankle hop, and adding a squat jump within your dynamic warm-up, because I think once you get down to it, your body's gonna feel a lot more primed and efficient once you get into the first few minutes of your run.